counting gang violence. Great.
Imagine being 31, standing before thousands of young people, sharing your ideas, challenging the status quo, and suddenly silenced forever. That was Charlie Kirk. He rose as a lightning rod in America's political youth scene, admired by many, criticized by others. Now, after his tragic assassination on a college campus, questions swirl. Did he unite the youth or deepen divisions? What does his legacy leave behind? For hope, for conflict, for a generation watching. Today, this video we explore the impact of Charlie Kirk's life, his work, and the echoes of his death. Who Charlie Kirk was. Rise of a youth voice. Charlie James Kirk, 1993 to 2025, co-founded Turning Point USA, TPUSA. In 2012, as a college freshman turned activist. From those early days, his aim was clear. Reach young people, especially on college campuses, to promote conservative values, free speech, Christian faith, and what he saw as lost American patriotism. Across the years, Kirk became a prominent media personality, author, speaker, and one of the more polarizing figures among youth politics. His style combined provocation, debate, and rallying, often using sharp language, strong rhetoric, and willingness to confront opposing views. He wasn't just talking, he was organizing, with Turning Point USA growing into a large network, active across thousands of campuses. But with that reach came critics. Many saw him as fostering division through controversial statements about race, gender, religion, immigration, and culture. Some praised him as essential to speaking truths others avoid. Others accused him of exaggerating fears or promoting extreme positions. He was also closely allied with Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, which further amplified both his influence and his polarization. For many youth, he was an inspiration, a leader who dared to challenge liberal orthodoxy. For others, a symbol of radicalism and intolerance. His power came from both admiration and controversy. The tragic death, what happened? On September 10th, 2025, during the first event of the American Comeback Tour at Utah Valley University, Charlie Kirk was speaking under a tent to a large audience. He was asked a question by a student about mass shootings. His last words before being shot were his reply, counting or not counting gang violence. At about 12:23 p.m. local time, a shot rang out. A sniper from a rooftop fired a single bullet, striking Kirk in the neck. Hospitalized in critical condition, he died later that day at age 31. The news stunned the nation. A suspect, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was later arrested. Authorities say Robinson told family members he believed Kirk spread hate. Kirk's widow, Erika Kirk, in a public address, vowed to continue his mission. She described his message of patriotism, faith, conservative values as undying, saying his legacy will be stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. Inspiration, what he gave young people. Despite polarization, Charlie Kirk's influence on youth was real and for many deeply meaningful. Here are several ways he inspired: empowerment and voice. For conservative youth often feeling marginalized on liberal campuses, Kirk offered a platform to speak, debate, and push back. His Prove Me Wrong style events invited students to challenge him to confront opposing ideas. That gave many confidence, active participation. He didn't just preach, he mobilized. Turning Point USA gave thousands of students leadership roles, organized local chapters, helped youth get involved in activism, campaigns, media, podcasts, debates. This converted passive disagreement into active involvement. Identity and values. For many, Kirk's message anchored in Christian faith, traditional values, patriotism, free speech, conservative economics resonated deeply. He provided a framework, a sense of belonging, for youth who felt alarmed by social change. Controversial thinking as stimulus. Even critics sometimes acknowledge that by pushing boundaries, Kirk forced conversations many had avoided. Whether one agreed with him or not, his provocations coaxed debates. What is free speech? What is discrimination? What responsibilities do platforms and speech carry? These conversations among youth shaped many political views, division, what he lost or damaged. Yet, for all the inspiration, Charlie Kirk also left behind deep divisions. Some of the ways his life and rhetoric contributed to polarized youth culture. Polarizing rhetoric and identity politics, many of his statements targeted sensitive issues, race, gender, immigration, religion, with sharp edges. For supporters, these were truths. For critics, these were inflammatory prejudice or exclusionary. That meant many young people felt attacked or unwelcome, especially minorities or those holding different beliefs. Echo chambers over dialogue. Despite stating debate, often engagement was asymmetrical. Critics argue that Kirk sometimes stoked outrage rather than encouraged understanding, leading his followers to dig deeper into their own tribe and dismiss opposing arguments. This can foster mistrust, misunderstanding, and reinforce misinformation, fear, and conflict. His rhetoric around threats of cultural takeover, of liberal elites, of anti-Christian sentiment amplified fears. Some youth internalize these fears, which can lead to social anxiety, division, or extreme reactions. Political violence and backlash. Tragically, his death is part of a growing trend of political violence in the US. For some, his assassination confirms warnings many had made about the dangers of heated rhetoric. For others, it risked turning his image into martyrdom and elevating further polarizing symbols. This can deepen resentment on both sides of the political spectrum. Legacy complicated. Because Kirk's work was never neutral, his legacy after death is complicated. Supporters see him as a hero, critics see unhealed wounds. That means for many young people, the question is no longer just about ideas, but about which side of a cultural war one occupies. That inhibits nuance. What has death left behind? Aftermath and implications. With Kirk gone, what remains? What will his death leave behind, both in terms of inspiration and division, especially among youth? Martyrdom and amplified influence. Many of his followers now see him as a martyr for conservative speech. Prominent figures like Donald Trump have praised Kirk posthumously, and his wife Erika has vowed to continue his mission. The cause may gain new energy. Political and social repercussions. The assassination sparked national and international reaction. Leaders from various countries and political factions condemned it. The event increases scrutiny on political security, campus speech safety, and the role of inflammatory rhetoric in public events. Younger generations in activism. Some youth will be inspired to carry forward Kirk's methods, public speaking, campus chapters, social media provocations. Others will be wary, traumatized even, of how quickly public speech can lead to violence. It raises questions among students. Is speaking out courageous or dangerous? Civil discourse, debate. The event forces America to reflect. Where is the line between heated political speech and rhetoric that fuels violence? How should political movements balance provocation with responsibility? This trauma may push for reforms in how events are organized, how speech is moderated, and how cross-ideological dialogue is handled. Division deepened, bridges harder. Sad to say, but his death may also harden divisions. With political violence now part of the recent history, many will feel justified in speaking more forcefully. Others will retreat from public political engagement out of fear. Conclusion: Charlie Kirk's story is one of contrast, drive and division, inspiration and outrage, hope and heartbreak. To many youth, he was a champion, a voice they heard when others ignored them, a structure they could join, a bold message to carry. To others, he was a provocateur whose words stung, whose style inflamed, and whose worldview excluded. His death, violent, shocking, public, shattered more than just his life. It forced a reckoning. It raised questions about free speech, political responsibility, campus safety, ideological extremism, and how youth engage with politics in an increasingly polarized world. So, was Charlie Kirk an inspiration or a divider? The answer is both. And perhaps the true measure of his legacy will lie in what comes next. Will young people use his absence to bridge divides, to find common ground, or will they double down, drawing deeper lines in the sand? Like, share, and subscribe for more, and share your thoughts. Did Charlie Kirk bring you closer to ideas you believe in or push you further from people you disagree with? Let me know in the comments.